Welcome back to the live show. We were cut off, now we're back. We're back like we never left. You know what time it is. We are back. We're back. So, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna smash the like button? Are we gonna subscribe to the channel? Are we gonna get excited for this great, great, great interview? Actually, this isn't an interview. This is a rally by Donald Trump and RFK. So, welcome to the channel. This is the second stream for today. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, Manflips is here at Manflips. Shout out to you, Manflips. Okay, so this is what we're gonna watch because we cannot watch the Dr. Phil's interview. I guess there was a little issue with that one. So we're gonna continue with this one, but I'm gonna start it from top. For whoever hasn't watched this before, um, I'm currently cooking chicken now. Um, so let me know. Let me know, Manflips. Should we watch this or do you have something else in mind? Let me see. Let me see. Let me go. All right. Let's see. Okay, so while we're waiting for different, is that you're working on it? All right.
Across the planet, who gave Well, thank you very much, and a very big hello, Arizona. Hello, Phoenix. I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. You built our country. 74 days from now, can you imagine? 74 days. Then we gently move into that beautiful White House and we take over our country and we make it great again. We're going to win Arizona. We're going to defeat Comrade Kamala Harris. And we're going to win back our beautiful White House. We're going to win it back. We're going to win it back in record force. Everyone here tonight is part of the greatest political movement in the history of our country. You know, this is the greatest political movement. It's called Make America Great Again. And it's right now bigger and better and stronger than it ever was before. You know, we won in 2016 and we did much better in 2020. A lot of people don't understand that, but we understand it. Millions and millions more votes. But those two are nothing like the spirit that we have now. It's amazing. And that's because we've seen how bad government can be. That's why it's combinations of a lot of things. But the job they've done in destroying our country is unbelievable, and people have seen it. And because of that, there's never been anything like this. Right, Carrie? Right? Our movement is not about Democrat versus Republican. It's about patriotism and common sense. You have a common sense. We're the party of common sense. You say what you want. Nice to say conservative, but really, we're the party of common sense. We want fair elections, free elections. We want strong borders. We want a great military. We want great education. We want a nice home at low interest rates or low taxes and no regulations. That's why we're welcoming support from millions and millions of disaffected Democrats, and they are joining like wildfire. Now, it's a little different than it was. You know, we had somebody, I was up 18 points, and they said, Joe, you can't win. You're getting out of the race. No, I want to go and give it a shot. No, Joe, you're getting out of the race, Joe. And if you don't do it the nice way, we'll do it the tough way, Joe. And he said, okay, and now I have a new opponent. This never happened before. We spent $100 million and a lot of time on defeating him. And as soon as he was gonzo, it all started with the debate. The debate. All that time, all that effort. A friend of mine said, you did a terrible job in the debate. I said, why do you say that? Everybody said I was brilliant. They said, no, you got him out of the race with that debate. It's all right. We have to do what we have to do, right? We have to do what we have to do. And now we have somebody that, in theory, should be easier to beat. In theory, because she's a radical left Marxist, and everybody knows it. But we're welcoming the support from millions of disaffected Democrats, independents, moderates, old-fashioned liberals who still believe in things like, little things like borders. I was there yesterday. That's a scary place. Sir, it's about time that you get out of the sun, sir. We're going to have to get you out of here, sir. Let's get the hell out of here. She was the border czar. She presided over the worst border in history. Not American history, world history. Democracy, liberty, and of course, always the right of free speech. We don't really have free speech right now. The press, look at all of them. Look at all of them. Look at that. Wow. Man. That's a lot of press. That's a lot of fake news. That's a hell of a lot of fake news. Gone forever is the old Democratic Party of FDR, JFK, and that's right, even Bill Clinton. Kamala Harris's Democrat Party is the party of free health care for illegal aliens, communist-style price controls, defund the police. All her life she wants to defund the police. A little while ago, she changed, didn't she, huh? Banning gas-powered cars and sex changes for minor children without parental consent. How about that one? How would you like that? Without parental consent. Can you imagine your kid comes home without parental consent? What happened to my baby? What happened? The true divide in American politics today is between these far-left fascists, led by Harris and her group, and you know who her group is, and citizens of all political backgrounds who love our country, share traditional American values, the values that you have right here in this great state, and look past our differences to unite around a thing called our great American flag. And we should speak to our great congressmen and congresswomen. They ought to make it illegal to burn the American flag. If you burn the American flag, you go to jail for 1 year. 1 year, that's all, 1 year. You burn the American flag, because in Chicago at the Democrat deal, they were burning flags all over the place. You burn the American flag. They say it's unconstitutional to do that. I think it's constitutional. You burn the American flag, you go to jail for 1 year. Nobody's going to be burning the American flag anymore. Our opponents worship the deep state. We want to obliterate the deep state. Slight difference. Our opponents, thank you. Our opponents join with warmongers and neocons to wage endless wars, these wars that never end. We don't even know who the hell the country is that we're fighting. We believe that America is strongest when America is at peace. We want peace through strength. That's what we want. Like we had 4 years ago. We didn't have any wars, except we wiped out ISIS very quickly. It was supposed to take 5 years to beat ISIS. I did it in 3 weeks. They support coercive COVID vaccine mandates and want to fire you. If you don't obey, you get fired. We oppose these mandates as a fundamental violation of our God-given rights. We don't want the mandates. We don't want the mandates. They want to arrest their political opponents and silence those who disagree. We reject censorship in all forms, and we believe in freedom, open debate, and fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. Our opponents slander us as a threat to democracy. Trump is a threat to democracy. No, they're a threat to democracy. How many times have you heard, you know, it's a talking point for them, right, Deb? It's a talking point. Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. And those guys say it too, because they're the same thing. They're like a part, they're a subsidiary of the Democrat Party. Meanwhile, they rig their primaries. They force out Joe Biden. They force him out of the party. Joe Biden got 14 million votes in an unconstitutional coup, and they appoint a nominee who never got a single vote. And when she ran against this guy, and I'm no fan, he was the worst president in the history of our country. He let in millions and millions of people through her. Let in millions of people would destroy our country. But we're going to get those people out, the people that came in here from jails and prisons and mental institutions. But they threw them out. You know, they ran against each other for the primary, and she never even made it to the first state, the great state of Iowa. Never made it. And now she's the one running. A little strange, isn't it? You see, that's really a threat to democracy if you get right down to it, right? In our movement, we know that democracy does not mean rule by the Democrat establishment. It means rule by the American people. Tonight, I'm very pleased to welcome a man who has been an incredible champion for so many of these values that we all share, and we've shared them for a long time. I don't think too many of you people have heard of him. He's very low-key. He's a very low-key person, but he's highly respected. He is a great person. I've known him for so long. For the past 16 months, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Whoa. And he deserves it. He deserves it. For the past 16 months, Bobby has run an extraordinary campaign for President of the United States. I know, because he also went after me a couple of times. I didn't like it. And I mean this sincerely. Had he been allowed to enter the Democrat primary, he would have easily beaten Joe Biden, but they wouldn't let him in. They put up rules. I've never seen rules like he had to have 65% of the vote in order to run, you know, little things like that. His candidacy has inspired millions and millions of Americans, raised critical issues that have been too long ignored in this country, and brought together people from across the political spectrum in a positive campaign grounded in the American values of his father, Robert Kennedy, a great man, and his uncle, President John F. Kennedy. And I know that they are looking down right now, and they are very, very proud of Bobby. I'm proud of Bobby, you want to know the truth. And I don't think I've ever introduced anyone that got applause like he just got. I must tell you, I don't think it's true. I don't think I've ever introduced anybody that got applause like that. Amazing. It's true. Amazing. Soon after I can't even believe I have to say this, nearly assassinated in Pennsylvania last month, Bobby called me to express his best wishes. He knows firsthand the risks incurred by leaders who stand up to the corrupt political establishment. When you stand up, you bring on some trouble for yourself, but you have to do what's right. You have to do what's right for the country. I will tell you, we are both in this to do what's right for the country. That's one thing I can tell you. He lost his father and uncle in service to our country, and Bobby himself was subject to repeated threats to his safety during the course of his campaign while being denied protection by the Harris-Biden administration. And this is a tribute in honor of Bobby. I am announcing tonight that upon my election, I will establish a new independent presidential commission on assassination attempts. And they will be tasked with releasing all of the remaining documents pertaining to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. And they will also conduct a rigorous review of the attack last month. But I tell you, I have never had more people ask me, please, sir, release the documents on the Kennedy assassination. And we're going to do that. And I also want to salute Bobby's decades of work as an advocate for the health of our families and our children. Nobody's done more. Millions and millions of Americans who want clean air, clean water, and a healthy nation have concerns about toxins in our environment and pesticides in our food. That's why today I'm repeating my pledge to establish a panel of top experts working with Bobby to investigate what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic health problems and childhood diseases, including autoimmune disorders, autism, obesity, infertility, and many more. We want every child in America to grow up and to live a long and healthy life. So I just want to ask Bobby to speak for a little while. I'll stand aside. I'm going to stand aside. But I can only tell you, I've known him a long time. We've been a little bit on the opposite side of the equation, but I will say this, he is a brilliant, I still think of him as young. He's not that young. I always call him young, but he's not that young. But he is a phenomenal person, a phenomenal man who loves the people of this country as much as anybody can love the people of this country. So, Bobby, please say a few words. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you. Now, a few hours after the assassination attempt at Butler, I got a call from a safe food advocate named Kelly Means, who's been fighting for many years to try to end the corruption at CDC and FDA and USDA. And these institutions, these regulatory agencies, are actually run by the big food processing companies, the big ag and the chemical companies that they're supposed to regulate. And he said to me that he'd been advising me for many years and on my campaign. And he told me that night that he was also advising President Trump. And he asked if I would talk to President Trump. And I said, of course. And about a few minutes later, I got a call from the president. And we talked. We had a very good talk. And then he invited me to come see him the next day. And I went to Minneapolis and saw him. We met again a couple of weeks later in Florida. And we talked about, not about the things that separate us because we don't agree on everything, but on the values and the issues that bind us together. And one of the issues that he talked about was having safe food and ending the chronic disease epidemic. Our children are now the unhealthiest, sickest children in the world. Don't you want healthy children? And don't you want the chemicals out of our food? And don't you want the regulatory agencies to be free from corporate corruption? And that's what President Trump told me that he wanted. He also told me that he wanted to end the grip of the neocons on U.S. foreign policy. He said he didn't want any more $200 billion wars in Ukraine, that we could use that money back here in the United States. And the best way to build a safe America is to rebuild our industrial base and rebuild the middle class in this country. And don't you want a president who's going to get us out of the wars and who's going to rebuild the middle class in this country? And he told me that he wanted to end the censorship because the whole basis of American democracy is the free flow of information. And we know that a government that can silence its opponents has license for any kind of atrocity. And can you think of any time that you can look back in history and say that the people who were censoring were the good guys? They're always the bad guys, because it's always the first step down that slippery slope to totalitarianism. And don't you want a president who's going to protect America's freedoms? And who is going to protect us against totalitarianism? And I want to ask you again, don't you want a safe environment for your children? Don't you want to know that the food that you're feeding them is not filled with chemicals that are going to give them cancer and chronic disease? And don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again? Thank you all very, very much, and God bless you, and God bless America.
Wow, that was something, huh? That was something. Fantastic guy. You know, he did well, and the polls are good and all, but you have to remember we have sort of like a two-party system. It was designed that way, and it's awfully tough. And as well as he did, he'd be at 10 and 15 and 16 points sometimes. That's a lot. That's a lot. But if he were in a regular system, like as a Democrat or perhaps as a Republican, but not against me, of course. But if he were in a regular system, there are a lot of people that maybe liked him the best, but they said, we can't vote. So with all of those votes he was getting, he has a lot of votes that he could have gotten. I think he's going to have a huge influence. We're leading now, but I think he's going to have a huge influence on this campaign. Actually, much bigger than you'd see in the polls, and those numbers are big to start off with, but Bobby and I will fight together to defeat the corrupt political establishment and return control of this country to the people. And to all who supported Bobby's campaign, I very simply ask you join us in building this coalition. It's a beautiful coalition in defense of liberty and safety, prosperity and peace. It's going to be an incredible coalition, and the relationship has been so good for so long. I have no doubt it's going to work and work well. But we have to win. We have to take our country away from these people that are going to destroy our country. We won't have a country left. So thank you very much. We need your vote. As you all know, this week the Democrats held their convention. You probably saw it, their party. The media says the big message from their convention was that we need to turn the page from the failures of the last 4 years. Do you believe it? They forgot. They've run it for the last 4 years. She was saying last night, we will stop the abuse. We will stop the high taxes. I said that you could have done it 3.5 years ago. In fact, you could leave that nice auditorium that you're in and go to the White House right now. You want to have a strong border? All you have to do is say to the incredible Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement, close the border now. You don't need bills. I did it. And we had the best border in history. Put up that chart. Put it up. That chart. I love that chart. I love that chart. Put it up. But I love that chart. Not everybody realizes, but that chart is very meaningful. Even beyond the numbers that are on the chart, it shows the least numbers of illegal immigrants pouring into our country. Again, prisons from mental institutions, terrorists, where the bottom arrow is. But you know what? That chart is meaningful in many ways. Some people understand what I'm talking about. I love you, darling. I love you. I'm going to sleep with that chart tonight, Deb. I'm going to sleep with that chart. But isn't that a beautiful sight? Look at that. Look at that arrow. And then look what happens when that was my last week in office. And look what happens after I left. It's like a rocket ship. Look at that. Isn't that terrible? No vetting, no checking. We have no idea who they are. They just pour into our country by the millions and millions and millions. We need to turn the page of 4 years of calamity and failure. They have had calamity and failure, and say, Kamala, you've done a horrible job. You've been the worst vice president in the history of our country. Kamala, you're fired. You're fired. Get out. Get out. Get out, Kamala. She's the only person ever to get a nomination of a party without getting one vote. She didn't get one vote. Hey, maybe she's smarter than we think. You know, you could look at it that way. As Vice President, Kamala cast the deciding votes, causing the worst inflation in decades, costing the typical American household $28,000. Think of this, higher prices. It was inflation, $28,000. As border czar, she flooded America with savage illegal alien criminals who have been raping, pillaging, and killing our cities and our towns. 3 years ago this week, she was the final vote on the catastrophic Afghanistan withdrawal. And we were withdrawing, but we were going to withdraw with dignity, with grace, and with strength. We would have been out faster, but we were going to keep Bagram. But that was the most embarrassing event in the history of our country, leading to horrific war and humiliation all over the world. When Putin saw that, he invaded Ukraine. It brought a lot of people back because they said the United States is run by incompetent people. The United States is no longer respected. It's no longer strong. That's what they said. A lot of these things that you're seeing now wouldn't have happened except for the horrible, horrible event of Afghanistan. You know, I was dealing with the leader of Afghanistan, Abdul. And I said, Abdul, you can't kill our people. He was killing our people. And I had a strong talk with him. I'm not going to get into it exactly. We went 18 months without one soldier being sniped at or shot at. Not one soldier injured or killed. And then we had a tremendous election where we did probably 10 or 12 million more votes than we got the first time. You know, most presidents don't get as many votes the second time because people get bored, but they don't get bored with me. They get bored. No, they get bored. Like Barack Hussein Obama got far fewer votes the second time, and he won. He won. Have you heard of him, Barack Hussein Obama? Remember Rush Limbaugh? Barack Hussein Obama. He was nasty to me. You know, he was nasty. Michelle was nasty. They're all nasty. Nasty people. They were very nasty. I was surprised. I thought he was, and I was sort of nice to him. I said, no, you know, I like him. Good. It didn't matter. They were nasty to me. And, of course, last night, Kamala mentioned my name, I think, 21 times. She didn't mention the border. She didn't mention inflation. She didn't mention anything but my name over and over and over again. She blamed me for the border. I haven't been there in 4 years. You saw it. I had the safest border, the best border we've ever had. She blamed me for the border. They lied so much. They lied about everything. She said I was involved with something called Project 25. I don't even know what the hell it is. No, they really were nasty. And then they say to me, sir, please stick to policy. Don't stick to personality. You should be nice to people, sir. You have to be nice. I call them up. My geniuses, they get paid a fortune. Actually, not that much. But I call up my people. I say, they're knocking the hell out of me, and you say I shouldn't get personal. I have to get personal, don't I? I have to get personal. I have to get personal. They get personal. But I'm going to do my best. So they're allowed to get personal with me, but I'm not allowed to get personal to them. They call me names that are so bad. Our great First Lady says, but you're not that way, darling. They love our great First Lady, I will tell you that. They do. They do. But darling, you're not that way. I said, I know that. And if I say something just slightly out of order, like, she didn't do a very good job last night, please never, ever mention look or anything like that. If you ever say, she didn't look really great, that's the end of your political career, so I wouldn't say a thing like that. How about her opening where she said, thank you, thank you, Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I said, what the hell is wrong with her, Deb? Debbie Lesko, she's a winner. Is that Sheriff Joe? Oh. That's Sheriff Joe. Look at that. A legend. You know, Sheriff Joe's looking at these clowns where they have no idea what they're doing, where people come in by the millions. He had nobody come in. Remember, he dressed everybody in pink. Remember that, right? Is that right, Joe? They had to dress in pink. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing. It wasn't bad. I mean, you know, you got a lot of killers that had a dress. But pink underwear, pink undershirt, and a pink outfit. Because he didn't want them coming into our country. Do you remember Arizona when Sheriff Joe was at the border? You didn't have people coming in. I think for the 1 year he had one person come in, but they got him. Now we have 3 million people coming in through your border. Your border. Oh, through the whole thing, it's ridiculous. It's not. Joe, it's an honor. And I'll tell you, people didn't treat you right. You are a legend, and you did a job like nobody else. True. Great going, Joe. And we love your wife. I lost his wife a few years ago, and she was a hell of a woman, right, Joe? But she's looking down at you, and she's proud of you. She's saying, you did very well with this group of people. But I've known you for a long time, and there was nobody like him. He understood the border better than anybody, and he ran it fairly. He ran very fair, but he ran it strong, and they respected him. They didn't even try. So thank you very much, Joe. And your wife is... she's proud of you. She's proud of you. Very proud of you. We're grateful to be joined tonight by the founder of Turning Point Action, a gentleman named Charlie Kirk. Thank you, Charlie. What a job he does. I said, Charlie, do me a favor. We got this thing won, but do me a favor, make sure they don't cheat. The only way they can do anything is if they cheat like hell, and we've been victims of that. Make sure they don't cheat, Charlie. We don't need the votes. We just want to make sure that they don't cheat. Hello, Sheriff. How are we doing? How are you guys doing? Good. Thank you. We need every sheriff to get over there, every law enforcement official, because we got the votes. We got to make sure everything's on the up and up. Charlie and his team of people, I mean, he's got hundreds of thousands of young people. It's actually quite discriminatory. Charlie, have you ever been sued by old people for not accepting them? He's got the youngest looking group of people, and they're warriors. They're unbelievable. The job Charlie has done is incredible. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. The job he's done is really incredible. Also with us is an incredible congresswoman who has decided to go onto a certain board. Do you know what I'm talking about? The most important board maybe in the whole country. And she's going to make sure everything's on the up and up. Debbie Lesko. Debbie, thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you, Debbie. You make sure, Debbie. She just won a big election by a massive... Well, you won that election easy, didn't you? She won it pretty easy. Another person who's a friend of mine, he's a warrior for a long time. He's great. He loves his state, he loves our country. Andy Biggs, Congressman Andy Biggs. Thank you, Andy. Thank you. And two other warriors, a young one and a little bit older one, but boy, they are tough. You don't get tougher than Eli Crane and Paul Gosar. Paul Gosar. Great. Thank you, Eli. Great. Great. Beautiful. Great people. And the next congressman from Arizona's 8th District, Abe Hamadeh. Wow. He's going to be good for a long time. He's a young gentleman. Great, Abe. Great job. Great job. Great heart. He went through a tough one. Arizona GOP chairwoman, she is doing a job. Gina Swoboda. Gina. She is doing a job. And a very good friend of mine, the next senator from Arizona, I really believe this. Look, she's running against, we don't have to do a big, I was going to bring her up. I was going to say, come on, Carrie, speak. But she just spoke for half an hour. What the hell am I going to do here? But I will tell you, she's running against a guy who's a rubber stamp for, it used to be Biden. Now, who the hell knows? I don't even know. Do we know who it is? Who a rubber stamp for somebody. But Ruben Gallejo is horrible. He's an open borders maniac. He's a defund the police maniac. He shouldn't be allowed to even run in this election against her because Carrie Lake is incredible. She's incredible. She's tough. She's smart. She's got heart. And she should be your next senator. I hope you win this sucker because you are winning. You're running against a guy that cannot carry your shoes. I'm being nice. You know the expression, can't carry her shoes. And you're going to have a big victory, and we're going to work together, and we're going to make sure we win this state. I say this presidentially, if we win this state, which we're expected to, we're leading and all of that, we win the presidency, and we have to take Carrie Lake with us. Go get him. Go get him, Carrie. Go get him, Carrie. Very important. And honestly, and forget, we all know Carrie. She's been a newscaster for 22 years. Everybody knows her. She's never had a problem. She's solid as a rock. This guy is a frickin' loser. He's a loser. So with that, we'll go on. But good luck, Carrie. We love you. Special. Since Democrats didn't talk about Kamala's horrendous record last night, we will. For nearly 4 years, Comrade Kamala Harris. I use that term, I don't know if it's good. Is it good or not, tell me? Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. I love these free polls. Instead of spending $250,000 to a pollster that doesn't even poll, you know what they do? They take your money, they say, let's see, all right, 49 to 51, all right. It's one of the greatest businesses in history. I get a free poll here. Do you like the name? She's a radical left lunatic, okay? She's a defunder of the police. She wants to defund all the things that we talk about. Do I call her Comrade Kamala Harris or do I not? Ready? Ready? What do I do there? You tell me. You could tell me better than anybody. Okay, ready? I'll say yes or no. Yes. No. Comrade Kamala Harris. Has overseen a nation-wrecking border invasion. This is a nation-wrecking It's an invasion. You know, one of the ways I built hundreds of miles of wall. I was there yesterday. I looked up and down. I said, man, I built a lot of wall. And we could have put up 200 miles more, but they didn't want to do it. And that's when I said, you know, I think they really want open borders. But we built much more wall than I said I was going to build. And you couldn't see the end of it yesterday. You couldn't see the end. We had a news conference, but it's a dangerous area. It's a dangerous area because of her, because of him. But he put her in charge, you know, whether she's borders are. And that's what she was called. Only recently did she say she doesn't have that. But you know what? She has been the worst manager. And the Border Patrol never even saw her. They never even met her. She's in charge of it. They never even met her. And you suffered the price. She's allowed at least 20 million illegal aliens into our country, including millions and millions of unvetted fighting-age men from 159 countries. You know, it's no longer just South America. They come from Africa, the Congo. They come from a lot of coming from jails in the Congo. Let me tell you, these people, the nice thing, they make our criminals look like the nicest people on earth. That's how tough they are. They come from the Middle East. They come from areas that we're fighting. They come from enemy terrain. They come from all over the world, and they do come from South America, but not only from South America. 159 different countries in the last year, and they're totally unchecked and unvetted. Every single year she's been in office, she has set an all-time high illegal border crossings record, triple and quadruple what the year before, where I'd have like 150,000 and she'd have 2.5 million. What she has done to this country, nobody can tell you. You know, she destroyed San Francisco as the district attorney. She destroyed California. You know that. This is a woman that's going to take. She destroyed California. She had a policy. If you steal less than $950, you're allowed to keep it. You can go. We're not going to prosecute. So criminals are walking into stores, mean, nasty guys, rough guys, and they take calculators and they calculate. Let's say I want to get up. They walk out, then they walk back in. The whole thing. This is who we're going to have running our country? I don't think so. And nobody lies like her. She's a liar. She makes up crap. She's the one going to raise. You know, she said, Donald Trump is going to raise. You know why? She said I was going to raise it. Because I'm going to put tariffs on other countries coming into our country. And that has nothing to do with taxes to us. That's a tax on another country. And I did it with China, and we had no inflation. You know, I had no inflation. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China, and not one other president took in 10 cents. They were all, oh, China, we're afraid of China. We're afraid of China. According to a new DHS report, Kamala Harris also lost, and this is impossible to believe. Listen to this. 325,000 migrant children are gone. They're missing. She allowed them to be trafficked into our country. Many of these children are now in sex slavery or they're dead, probably mostly dead. They will never see their homes or their parents again. They were swiped out of their homes. They were taken out of their homes. This is a government number, 325,000 children, sex slaves or they're dead. Many are dead. Hamas has so little respect for Kamala and Joe Biden, crooked Joe Biden, that the hostages that they're talking about all the time, I believe they're largely gone. I believe they're largely gone. So sad. When you look at what happened, when you look at that attack on October 7th, I believe they're gone. And the reason they're not negotiating, you know, it says Hamas has decided not to negotiate because what they want back are the hostages. And I think those hostages, for the most part, aren't around anymore. And so they said, oh, boy, we can't really negotiate because we don't have the hostages. The hostages are largely gone. How sad, how terribly sad. If they feared and respected Joe Biden and Kamala, they would never have killed those hostages. They would have never attacked. They would never have attacked when I was president. Iran was broke. Iran was broke. I told China, if you spend any money on buying oil from Iran, you'll never do business in the United States again, and we're going to put a 200% tariff on you. And Iran was broke, and they had no money for Hamas, and they had no money for Hezbollah. You can check your numbers. Look at it. When my last year, they had no money. We had no terrorism. You know, for 4 years, I didn't have any terrorism. Do you notice that? None. And when they asked Viktor Orban, the prime minister of Hungary, very strong guy, what is the reason that things are so bad now? The Middle East is blowing up. Russia's blowing up with Ukraine. There's wars starting all over the place. Looks like bad things could happen in Taiwan with China. What's the reason? He says, you got to get Donald Trump back as president. You won't have any problems. That's what he said. It's true. It's true. They respected your country. They respected your leader, but they respected our country. Now they laugh at our country. Our country has become a joke. She's provided deportation immunity to the vast majority of criminal aliens living inside the United States and is importing MS-13 gang members, known as the most violent gang of them all, into our cities and into our high school. Think of it, they're coming into our high schools. Kamala has set loose thousands of Venezuelan gang members who, according to law enforcement bulletins, have been given a license to shoot American police officers. You know that, right? Under Harris, ICE deportations are at the lowest level in history, the history of our country. She supports deadly sanctuary cities. Now, of course, she's flip-flopping on everything. You do know that, right? You know that, Joe? She's flip-flopping on everything. Debbie, right? She's a flip-flopper. Andy, she's a flip-flopper. She flip-flops on everything. Because she was polled, she said she didn't do too well. That's probably why she was the first out of 22 people. I can't get over it. She was the first failure. And now she's running. Oh, we're going to beat her. I look forward to the debate, too. I do look forward to the debate. Look forward to it. She called for abolishing ICE. These are great patriots who are tough as hell. You need tough people. She's compared ICE agents to the KKK. She wants to repeal the federal law that makes illegal immigration a crime, making illegal immigration totally legal. It's okay to come into our country. She wants to release all of the thousands of criminal illegal aliens that are locked up in detention centers, and these are the toughest of them all. She wants to release them into our country. We have detention centers for the toughest of them all. She says, we're going to release them. Now, maybe they'll ask her tonight, oh, no, I would never do that. She might change. She's changing and everything. But don't forget, if the election ever went haywire, if they can find a way to cheat enough and she wins, in quote, she wins, she's going to do everything that you wouldn't dream of, including no fracking. She didn't discuss fracking last night. No fracking in Pennsylvania. I can't imagine she can do well in Pennsylvania. 500,000 jobs are involved with fracking, and a huge amount of their budget, everything's involved with fracking, and she's against it. In her speech last night, she lied about almost everything. She lied when she said, I was going to raise taxes. No, I'm lowering taxes. She's the one. She lied and said that, oh, this is the best. I'm going to be the one, and I was already there. I didn't touch your Social Security, and a lot of Democrats wanted me to. She lied when she said that I want to cut Social Security and Medicare. No, she wants to cut it because she wants to have the illegal immigrants coming into our country to go on Social Security and Medicare, which will destroy Social Security and Medicare. It's Kamala Harris who cast a tie-breaking vote to cut Medicare by $266 billion. She cut your Medicare, remember this, by $266 billion, and then promised mass amnesty last night to 20 million illegal aliens and make them American citizens, which will absolutely obliterate your Social Security and your Medicare, ultimately leaving those programs bankrupt and our seniors desperate and poor. And remember, when you talk about all of those hundreds of billions of dollars, you know what she's putting that money into? The Green New Scam. She took it out of your Medicare. She's putting it into one of the greatest ever, one of the great voices of sport. Stand up. Let's see if anybody knows who the hell you are. Good job. He's a good man. He's done a good job. But she took it out and she wants to put it in. She put it into the Green New Scam. She said the border was safe under her direction. You know, they're the party of disinformation and misinformation. They'll say something 100 times. The border was safe. Did you see last night? The border's safe. The first time she said that was about 2 months ago, and she went like this. The border was safe. She started choking. Horrible. They are the misinformation, disinformation. They lie. They keep saying the same untruth over and over again. And you know, you're not like in my business. You're not in this political business like these people. You're in other things. You're lawyers and you're carpenters and you're electricians and you're drivers and you're doing a lot of things. By the way, no tax on tips. Remember that? No tax on tips. No tax on tips. She tried that one, and yet in Congress right now they have bills to destroy people that don't. Do you see what's going on? It'll never happen with her. It's guaranteed to happen with me. No tax on tips. But actually, it's the most dangerous and unsafe border anywhere in the world. There's never been a border like it. No country ever. If a country had a border like that, they would fight with sticks and stones if they had to keep the people out. She believes that if you say things enough over and over again, even if they're stone-cold lies, like Project 25, he believes in... I don't even know what the hell it is. I know it's a group of people that got together and they're slightly on the conservative side. And it's unbelievable what they do. It's really unbelievable. She would destroy our country if she was ever elected. Our country will go down the tubes. We'll be in a depression like 1929. We will not have a country any longer. Yesterday, I was at the border with the victims of Kamala's migrant crime wave. One of them is here with us tonight. Michael Morin is the brother of Rachel Morin, who you know about. Rachel was a cherished 37-year-old mom of 5 absolutely incredible children, beautiful woman. Last summer, Rachel was out on a run when she was brutally raped and murdered by an illegal alien who was led into America by Kamala Harris. Let her in. Said, let her in. The animal who committed this heinous crime first killed another woman in El Salvador before walking across the open border. Just walked right in, no problem. He then attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in a home invasion in Los Angeles before murdering Rachel in cold blood. Michael, I promise you, in Rachel's memory, we will stop this invasion and we will keep these savage criminals the hell out of our country. Thank you, Michael. Please. Thank you. So sorry, Michael. So sorry. Say hello to your parents and everybody, okay? Thank you. So horrible. We are so sorry, Michael. Thank you for being here. According to her own administration statistics on crime victims, Kamala Harris has presided over a 43% increase in violent crime. These are government numbers, by the way, including 58% increase in rape, 89% increase in aggravated assault, and 56% increase in robbery. During the riots of 2020, she encouraged her followers to donate to bail criminals, looters, and arsonists and killers. People died, including Sean Michael Tillman, a dangerous repeat offender who went on to shoot and kill a Minnesota man 6 times in the head. He shot him 6 times in the head and torso. And Kamala, let him out, let him go. while Kamala Harris was DA of Sanctuary City, San Francisco, 20 years ago, maybe the greatest city in the world. Today, it's unlivable. She ignored the pleas of victims' family. Please, please please don't do this to us. And refused to seek the death penalty against an illegal alien MS-13 gang member, one of the worst murderers they've seen in years, who murdered an innocent man and his 2 sons and didn't even remember he did it. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as a non-violent crime. Comrade Kamala Harris destroyed single-handedly, with some help from the worst governor in our nation, Gavin Newsom, both San Francisco and California itself. He's a terrible governor. What a governor. For years, but you know, she might have picked a worse one. If you look at the numbers in Minnesota, we hope we're going to win Minnesota. You know, it hasn't been won since 1972, Richard Nixon. But we're doing well there, too. But the governor is horrible. You know what he did? He approved a bill to give tampons in every young man's bathroom. Right? Think of that. This is what we have. This is our vice president, our potential president. Tampons in boys' bathrooms. For years, Kamala Harris has pushed legislation to strip police officers of protection, trying to bankrupt them and ruin their lives for doing their jobs. No protection, no immunity, no nothing. She even endorsed defund the police. I will never defund the police. I will only fund the police and fund them with plenty of money and pride. I will always back our law enforcement heroes in blue. We are pleased to be joined tonight by the president of the Arizona Police Association, Justin Harris. Oh, no, he's not a relation. Justin, are you a relation? Last name is Harris, spelled the same. I'm very concerned about this. I'm not really. But Justin Harris is a great gentleman who has a special announcement. Justin, would you please come up? Thank you. It's an interesting. I'm not worried about it. Thank you. Thank you, great, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm a little concerned about that illegal immigration chart you put up there. Was that a spike in immigration or the inflation?
Sort of both.
Kind of both, right? Wonderful job those Democrats are doing. My name is Justin Harris. I'm a veteran police sergeant here in Arizona with 25 years of experience in service. And I also have the privilege and the honor to serve as the state president of the Arizona Police Officers Association. The Arizona Police Officers Association is the largest law enforcement association in the state of Arizona, and we represent over 12,000 law enforcement professionals, the men and women that currently serve in our communities each and every day at the local, county, state, and federal law enforcement levels. We cover the entire state. And on behalf of the Arizona Police Association, we are proud to welcome President Trump to the great state of Arizona. And to the wonderful city of Glendale, home of Luke Air Force Base. Folks, these men and women in Luke fly those beautiful F-16 Fighting Falcons of the 309th Fighter Squadron and those beautiful, beautiful F-35 Lightnings. Nothing like hearing those jets flying overhead, which that's the sound of freedom and American ingenuity. Also a special thank you to the Glendale Mayor, Jerry Wires, and the entire City Council for their unwavering support and advocacy for our police officers, active duty military, and our veterans. You're not going to find stronger advocates for our military, our veterans, and our police officers anywhere in the world other than Glendale. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Also, I wanted to give a special thanks to the men and women of the Glendale Police Department, the best and most professional police department in the country. Okay, thank you. With a special thanks to Police Chief Chris Briggs and the other 8 West Valley Coalition departments that allowed us to use their law enforcement officers here today to keep us all safe. Thank you, gentlemen and women. Law enforcement today is perhaps the most complex occupation on earth. It's an honorable profession of service and commitment to others, those who step in the gap between good and evil and to protect our communities, and we do so knowing the risk. Officers are required to make split-second decisions under the most uncontrolled, chaotic, and stressful situations, often at great risk to their own personal safety. Given the literally millions of contacts between officers and the communities annually, with a few exceptions, officers make those decisions correctly as trained and in accordance with the law. But high profile does not mean high frequency. Currently, in this day and age of instant information, social media, and videos, there's an unrealistic expectation of absolute perfection. It is not possible to be perfect every time because we hire from the human race. People are not perfect. Good people can make mistakes. However, the constant orchestrated villainization of police officers has eroded the public's trust. It has encouraged an air of obstinance, disrespect, and assaultive attitudes and behavior towards police officers. What was that name we called her? Was that Comrade Kamala? Was that what it was? Kamala, Comrade. Well, what we do know is she supported defunding the police, and the best term is they wanted to reimagine policing. I don't know what that means. She is part of the radicalized movement to degrade public safety and make our communities less safe. In contrast, under President Trump's first term in office, he always had our backs. Thank you for that. He never rushed to judgment, and he never, ever in a lifetime called to defund the police, ever. And we owe him a debt of gratitude for that. Let's also forget, when President Donald Trump was president, he closed the borders and locked the door. Border czar Kamala Harris opened the door and let everybody in. Border czar Kamala Harris is allowing millions of illegal immigrants into this country, turning each and every state into a border state and flooding American streets with drugs and crime. The Democrats haven't quite figured this out yet, but it's not rocket science. But open borders equals more crime. Close the border. And my gut tells me that there's a gentleman standing up here on stage today that's going to do exactly that. President Donald Trump has in the past and will again make America great again by tackling lawlessness head on. Ceasing the endless flow of illegal immigrants across our southern border and ensuring that police departments across the country have the funding, the training, and equipment necessary to do our jobs. And he's not going to reimagine us doing that. President Trump will stop the multi-million-dollar illicit trade that occurs each and every day at the border. Thanks to Comrade Kamala, with these open borders, the only group that she's enriched is the Mexican cartels, which have expanded over 160 countries across the world. They've done this by using human beings and human trafficking and treating them like dogs. The flow of illegal drugs into this country is unmatched in history. And they also have illegal vaping devices that are harming our communities and killing our kids, all being imported from China through the cartels. This has to stop. Kamala Harris, as border czar, deliberately obliterated the U.S. border to flood the country with illegals. They canceled the wall. They implemented catch and release and terminated Remain in Mexico and effectively shut down ICE, pulling those agents off of the front line, putting them in administrative duties to do paperwork and change diapers. Meanwhile, the front door of our country is wide open. President Trump will stop this. I've got a serious question. Has the border czar, Kamala, even toured the southern border? Didn't think so. Has President Donald Trump toured the border? Yes, he has. And I heard the cartels went running. On average, there's over 5,000 illegal immigrants are being released into the country every day, our country. We don't know who they are, don't know where they came from, can't even account for them. For 38 straight months, the monthly border encounters have been higher than even the highest month seen under the Trump administration. You can't tell me this isn't being done deliberately, because it is. In 2023 alone, more than 900,000 illegal immigrants were released into the interior of the U.S., unaccounted for, waiting for court dates, and nobody knows where they're at. That's the entire city of Mesa flowing into our countries, and that's the only ones we know about. Illegal drugs are flowing into this country at an alarming rate, with only 5% being intercepted at the border. Okay. Huh? You got it. Folks, let me finish up here, please. This country, our family, our communities, and everything that each of us holds dear and near to our hearts cannot endure another 4 years of a clueless president that cares more about the color of her curtains than the safety and prosperity of our great country and its people. It is clear who supports law enforcement, law and order, and that's President Trump. His unwavering shown commitment to the rule of law of the men and women is placing lives on the line every day. So if you support national security and want to secure our borders, vote Trump. If you support law enforcement and safe communities, vote Trump. If you support getting our country back on track and making America great again, vote Donald J. Trump for president. And this is why the Arizona Police Association and our 12,000 members, family, and friends are proud to extend our endorsement to Donald J. Trump for President of the United States of America. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you very much. Wow, that's a great endorsement. Means a lot. So just in closing, I want to say that from the moment we take back the White House from Kamala Harris and crooked Joe Biden, crooked is a $4 bill, used to say $3 bill, now we say $4 bill. I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Starting on day 1, I will seal the border and stop the migrant invasion of our country. We will carry out the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than President Dwight D. Eisenhower in the 1950s, who was a big believer in borders. We will defeat inflation, and we will make America affordable again. You're going to have an affordable country again. We will make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. It won't even be close. Remember, as I always say, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country in the world, including Saudi Arabia, including Russia, and we will use it to reduce taxes and energy costs for our people. We will reduce your energy bills in 1 year by more than 50%. That's here and that's everywhere in the country. And that includes heating, air conditioning, electricity, and gasoline for your car. I will turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower more than it has ever been, ever before. We will bring back jobs to America. We will no longer allow foreign countries to take our jobs and to steal our wealth. We will make our own products, and we will buy far less from foreign countries than we are buying right now. We're going to make it here. Other countries that make us pay a tax to do business with them will be charged the same tax when they send their product into the United States. It'll be called the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. And if China or any other country charges us a 100% tax or tariff, then we will charge them a reciprocal tariff of 100 or 200%. In the words of a great president, William McKinley, the protective tariff policy of the Republicans has made the lives of our countrymen sweeter, brighter, brighter, and it's the best our citizenship and our civilization can ever have. Better destiny for our people. We ought to take care of our own nation, and we have to take care of our industries first. We have to take care of our country first. It's about time, and it's going to happen starting on January 20th of next year. I will not let Mexico, China, or any other country sell cars into the United States to the detriment of our auto workers all over our country, including in Michigan and South Carolina. United Auto Workers, you're going to vote for Trump because I'm going to bring you back more auto production than you've ever seen in this country before. I will end the ridiculous electric vehicle mandate, cut every job-killing regulation of the Harris-Biden administration, and make our auto manufacturing business bigger, better, and stronger than it has ever been before. And if you relied on Kamala, there would be no auto industry. Within 3 years, you'll never make another car. When I am back in the White House, we will pass large tax cuts for our workers, and there will be, as I said, no tax on tips. And that means if you're a restaurant worker, a bartender, hospitality worker, caddy, barber, mover, driver, or anyone else who relies on tip income, your tips will be 100% yours to keep. You will no longer be harassed by your government. And I will fight for and protect your Social Security and your Medicare with no cuts and no changes in age. We're not going to move it up. They want to move it up 5 years. We're not doing it. Darling, when do we get our Social Security? Well, they just moved it up 5 years. You're not going to happen with me. It's going to happen with them. They're going to destroy your Social Security. And we will have no tax on Social Security benefits for seniors. They destroyed our seniors and everyone else with their horrible inflation. and then they give you small dollars with Social Security, and they want you to pay tax. I don't know. We don't need it. We can do it. We have so much else, including that liquid gold. Oh, we're going to go hunting for liquid gold. We will cut wasteful and unnecessary spending, and we will terminate the Green New Scam and spend that money on roads, bridges, real infrastructure, and paying down debt. No fake infrastructure that has caused massive inflation with no benefit whatsoever to our population. I will settle the war in Ukraine, and I will end the chaos in the Middle East, and we will restore peace through strength, and it will happen quickly. I will have that war ended before I go to the White House on January 20th. I will have the war in Ukraine ended as president-elect. And we will end the weaponization of government against the American people, including myself, by the way. They've weaponized the government against the political opponent. Can you imagine? But you just saw we won the big case down in Florida. Everyone said, oh. They weaponized it. They got their Justice Department to go after their political opponent, but they're not doing well. I'm the only one that ever happened to where my numbers went up. What do you think about that, Mr. Congressman? I don't think it's ever happened. They go after me and my numbers go up. Somebody's got to explain this. We will rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful once again. And we will keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency, because right now it is under siege. And this is how we will end the era of inflation, mayhem, and misery under Kamala and Crooked Joe, and unleash safety, prosperity, peace for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. Together, we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest costs, low inflation. And that's for everyone. We're talking about everyone. We want to make sure everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home. We will stop the invasion, end migrant crime, support our great police, strengthen our military, build a missile defense shield around our country, keep critical race theory and transgender insanity out of our schools, and we will keep men out of women's sports. We will defend the Second Amendment, and we're going to restore. Those people don't allow it. The fake news doesn't allow it. We will restore free speech in our country, and we will secure our elections, Mr. Congressman. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with joy and opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris, a new name. We must stop her country-destroying liberal agenda once and for all. We have to put an end to it. So get your friends, get your family, register, volunteer, and get out to vote. We want a landslide that is too big, too rigged, too big, too rigged. Right? Right, Deb? On November 5th, we will save our country. We will save our economy. We will rescue our middle class. We will reclaim our sovereignty and restore our borders. We will put America first, and we will take back our country. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again, so strong. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. God bless you all. God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Arizona. God bless you all.
Shout out to everybody watching the live show. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. Shout out to everybody watching the live show. You know what time it is. Okay. Instead of looking for perfection, seek for consistency. Instead of looking for perfection, seek for consistency. Okay? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Why are you voting for Kamala? Why are you voting for Trump? You have to know why you're voting for these people, okay? And Aaron Ball said she's smarter than Trump. How? What has she done concerning the border, concerning the Ukraine situation, concerning Russia, concerning Israel, concerning the Palestinian people, concerning the inflation? Those are the things you have to see, okay? So let's just let's just use our brains. Don't use your emotions and feelings, okay? All right, I gotta go. It's late. It's late. It's late. It's like 3:11 a.m. I will be back in the morning. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the best. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Okay.